Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this week's tutorial we'll be going over how I created this red liquidy look in Procreate. Alright, so I started with a medium hard airbrush brush that is in the airbrush section on Procreate, and all I did was create drips over the petals where I wanted there to be some. And I also included some droplets that would be going in the direction of gravity with this painting to make it look more realistic. And all I did was change the blending layer on this layer. The blending layer option that you would be using would depend on the color of drips you're making over what color of an object you're painting on. So just try and mess around a little. I wound up using two blending mode options by duplicating the red drip layer. The first blending mode option was screen, and the second blending mode layer I used was linear burn. The reason why I used these two together was because it created the perfect general range of shadows of like the value range you would expect to see on these strips, just the basic ones. So it doesn't have any of the shadows that would be cast. It doesn't have any of the harsh highlights something liquidy would have, but it was a perfect starting point and saved me a lot of time since I just spent a long time shading and highlighting those rose petals underneath. So yeah. Once that was all figured out, I created a new layer just to create the drop shadows from the droplets on the petals, as well as any harsh highlights that would be going on. So right here I'm using the soft round airbrush brush, and I'm just using black at a very low opacity, around like 25% or something like that. And I'm drawing over that droplet right where it meets the rose petal, and this is going to make it look like there is a shadow underneath it that is being cast down. And because this liquid is going to be somewhat transparent, you're going to see its own drop shadow underneath it. I hope that makes sense, but that's why I placed it a little bit over the droplet, like halfway over the droplet and halfway onto the rose petal. And then with a soft airbrush, I got white, and on the same layer that I made all the shadows, I'm making really gentle and low opacity highlights. And this was around 20%-ish. And with a medium hard airbrush, I'm doing higher opacity white highlights that are a lot brighter. So this was around 50% strength, I believe. And I'm just adding this onto any of the highest points on the rose petals where the light would naturally be making a harsh highlight. And that's it for this week's tutorial. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And I will link here how I did the little moth guys. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!